Oh, crap. Well, yeah. You know what? I didn't play the intro because I failed. And so I'm going to do it now. You know why? Because I feel like I have to do it. It's going to happen. So we're going to pretend like that didn't happen. Be like, hey, everybody, what's going on? Yeah, good to see you. Nothing to see there. Didn't happen. Nothing happened. Look, here's Jeff. We're just hanging out like normal days. Like, I didn't forget to hit the other button. And, oh, my God, we're starting off the new year right, yo.
Well,
Jeff,
you got to get all your stuff out of the way the first couple of weeks, and then the
why
rest of
aren't
it's
you
great.
supervising me, man? I blame you. It's clearly your fault because, if you were really taking charge of this thing, that kind of thing wouldn't happen.
Taking charge of what?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So, hey, everybody, what's up? I see. Oh, look, here I am. Hi, all. Uh,
Hey,
Jonah Green, Alan Becker, James Vaughn, Andrew Bagwandine. Yes, sir.
you got
Happy
it.
New Year. Happy New Year. I'm going to ignore Dennis Lewis because it's fun. Otis Campbell. Hey, hey. Okay, fine, Dennis. God, don't be all up. Ugh. Hey, Dennis, you want to know the fuel surcharge?
Bam.
I'm not gonna let you know. I'm gonna push it out a little while. Uh,
That's just that's just good marketing, Charlie.
right,
Yeah, live at 11, right?
right. Retention, yo. Jason Caps, what's up, buddy? Buddy. That was a combination of brother and buddy, all at whatever. Oh my God, it's gonna be one of those days. Craig Hutchinson, what's up? What's up? Bull of the Woods. I just like the name.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Rolling, what's shaking? You got to click on the button the right way. Mike Henderson. Look at
Happy New Year. That's it. That's a cool angle on his profile picture, dude. I'm digging
right.
that.
I know, right?
I wonder if he's really that big.
Hey,
You better watch out, Sean. Charlie will hunt you down and hug you.
for real. You look like a giant. I want to put my arms around you and hug him up. I'm just saying. Anyhow, that's not weird. Stop it. Oh, yeah. So what's up, people? Happy New Year. I,
Squirrels.
I Squirrel. Sorry, yeah. Kelly Furlong, what's going on? Hey, for those of you following along with the insurance stuff, hopefully you received an email just a little while ago. Check your email for something from insurance at contractorscorner.network. There was some additional information that we needed to add to the quote build. We just found out today. They are actually processing and trying to build that quote for us right now. And they decided they need to know our model year, make, model, and the
And value.
estimated value. So if you get that email, please respond to that. Yeah, I know some of you guys have. That's cool. I appreciate those of you who've done it already. You guys are on the ball, and yeah, it's cool. And yeah, but here's kind of the cool thing that we did find out today about that. According to Mr. Jeff Reese, he said that we actually are coming in with better numbers than expected for our safety risk analysis thing. So they're anticipating a really decent price. So keep that in mind, guys. TK, my brother from another mother. Sorry I haven't called you back. I'm a terrible brother. I know that. And my bad, my bad. Happy New Year, sir. Uh,
Sir George.
no, I'm not doing it. I like Coach's ugly sweater. Dang, man, that sucks. I broke down 2 hours into 2023 and I'm still broke down. Bring back 22, please. That sucks, man. I'm laughing with you, I
I
think.
just
You
gotta
know,
say, if that is your sweater, it is a very ugly sweater.
that's a
I'm just
fine
saying.
sweater. That would be a great thing.
Pikachu. Sorry.
Hey, Kelly, you know what? Don't worry. We're good. We will get it. I know that you'll get it. You won't forget. We'll remind everybody again right before the end of the show. How's that?
Yep.
Is it that? You know what? See, you guys suck. I suck. Look, I suck because I'm typing things in the chat that I shouldn't be typing. Just saying. Whatever. Let's do this thing.
They can hear you, Charlie.
Yeah, Dennis is gonna like have a freaking conniption. Let's do this. I don't know how to do this. Oh, I clicked the right buttons for once. All right. So the national diesel fuel cost average went up 0.046 to 4.583. West Coast Pad 5 went up 0.023 to 5.091. That brings our fuel surcharge up to 0.557. That's an increase of 0.009. The West Coast fuel surcharge stayed at 8 cents. So there you go. Dennis, are you happy now? God. Pow.
Pow pow.
Yeah. Pow pow. So I tell the kids, you get pow pows, and like, no pow pows. Like I beat them or something. You know what I mean? It's weird. Oh, let's see. I'm about to respond. I got that one. Brand new Cascade, 20,000 miles, 0 power. She's dead. Oh, that sucks.
What was that? You didn't put that up.
Coach's ugly sweater was talking about brand new Cascadia, 20,000 miles, 0 power. She dead. That sucks.
Yeah,
I don't even know. Look. Any word on it? What are they saying? Any ideas? That sounds terrible.
It does.
So look. I like it. I don't even have to do it this week. I don't even have to say nothing. Just gonna leave it there on the screen. Coach's ugly sweater said, "Hit the like button, slackers." Look, I would never call you guys slackers because that wouldn't be right. At least not while I'm live on the air. I mean, maybe one-on-one to your face or something like that. But I mean, what? No. Yeah, whatever. Nevada Trucking and Trails, what's happening? Good to see you. Oh man. So we were supposed to have Brett Stewart on this week because he's like, hey guys, I'd like to do the first show of the year. And we're like, cool. And that was a week and a half or 2 weeks ago. And we're like, all right. And then we're like, hey, Brett, you're going to be on the show today? He's like, yeah, today's not good, y'all.
Well, he's a busy guy.
He is a busy guy, whatever. But still, it was just fun. I kind of figured it would happen, but.
So the beginning of the year, guys, don't forget to check your email for your new certificate of insurance. That comes to us via email. You got to print it out yourself.
Comes from a weird email address.
Oh, mine came from Night Swift. So.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's not what mine said. Mine was some weird thing.
And then all your other permits, if you're like need an alcohol permit or something like that, I think people were telling me I'm old school, so I'll print them out if I need them. But they're right there on the portal. But guys are telling me that you could just pull it up on your phone and that's good enough, I guess. I don't know. Do you have any information on that, Charlie?
No, that's pretty much how you do it. Or swing by Permits in Phoenix and just say, hey, give them to me. And they'll give them all to you.
Yeah, they had that whole stack of the new permits for the year too, right there at the permit
I miss
window.
being able to go into the permit department and just hand them your permit book. And when they would take all the old crap out and put new crap in it, and you could walk away with a nice, clean, neat, and organized permit book. Now they just hand you a packet of stuff and they're like, here, you do it.
Yeah.
The good old days.
Well, we're all drivers. We're out there in the world and we're all infected. So.
Right. Oh my gosh. Let's see. So Freightliners have been coming out recently with dead ECUs. They'd work, then nothing due to programming. That's what Alan was saying. That sounds terrible. You're starting to freak me out a little bit, yo. Am I good since I'm up around 70 grand? I don't know. It's freaking me out, man.
So I've had 2 people ask me about my remodel so far.
Yes. They want,
And
in fact, one of them was me.
okay.
Look at that.
Right.
Look.
Yeah, there you are. So as I mentioned on the Facebook page, I'm not a carpenter. And so it's going a lot slower than I would like. But it's going. I've got
Ask him about his first floor.
I yeah. Anyway. So yeah.
Oh,
I got just over half the floor in. Everything's out. I got just half the floor in. And if you guys that own your trucks want to do something like this with putting a wood floor in, and you got a newer truck, remember that DPF system, when it does a regen, it gets hot. And now I know just how hot it gets because I had a naked floor and the truck went into a regen because, I live in Utah, so it was cold. So I had the truck running while I was working on in there. And it was hot enough to where you couldn't sit on the floor. That's how hot it gets without insulation on there. So what I did was I have 3 layers on the floor. I have a foil looking heat barrier that I put down first, followed by closed cell insulation with another heat barrier on the back side of it, and then the floor. And progressively, the floor is almost too hot to touch. The heat barrier, I could touch the floor. The top of the closed cell foam, I could feel some heat. The top of my floor, cold. So was it a lot of work?
Good stuff.
Was it a lot of work to do? Yeah, it was a pain in the butt to get all that insulation in there. But I could tell you, I'm glad I did it because that floor is it's not even, you can't even tell that there's any heat coming out of there by the time you get to the top of the floor. So there's my advice on that part. And then my son's going to help me design and build cabinetry probably starting tomorrow.
Woo-hoo.
Get the cabinets in, and then I got to get back to work after that. Holy cow.
Yeah.
I mean, just the materials. I've been trying to run a cost on this thing. Keep in mind, too, guys, that I ripped everything out. Like I don't have a bottom bunk anymore. So it's about 100 square feet of material for that space. If you're going to keep your bottom bunk, you don't need to get that much. So my cost for the floor was right around $500. That includes all the insulation, the flooring, and everything. So not bad. We'll see what the cabinets cost.
Right. Terry, Cab Over Kid, is Swift going to have embark trucks autonomous? I know they just opened up, what was it? The night side, right? Mm-hmm. Got a one or a couple or something like that they're actually running the embark trucks.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're actually running them yet. I know they have them on hand, and they said they were going to start on them sometime after the first of the year. So that could be interesting, scary, neat. I don't know. I've seen enough of them on the road that, and driven past a couple of them and had one pass me. It's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I parked next to one at a rest area a couple of weeks ago. That was interesting.
Dude, have you did you get out and check out all the crazy cameras and all that nonsense on it? It's ridiculous.
I did. Yeah.
There's a lot of
technology. I wanted to talk to the guys in it, but they were super busy. Like as soon as they stopped, the engineer, because right now they have a driver and an engineer on board. First thing that happened, I see him stop. I'm like, wow, that's cool. I'm going to talk to those guys. Nope. Engineer's got his notebook out. He's plugging it into stuff. And,
right.
And the driver looked like he was running for the bathroom. So
yeah, that sounds about right.
But I did take a look around the truck a little bit. It was pretty cool. Charlie and I, a lot of people are like, oh, these things are at least a decade away, or it'll never happen. And then there's the other crowd. They took my job. That crowd is out there too. We're on record saying, hey, we want to be the first guys to lease one of these things for Swift.
That'd be awesome.
We'll do that experiment. I mean, the technology is going to be here sooner than a lot of people think. It's probably not next year,
right?
But I don't think we're a decade out at this point either,
right?
And again, history's repeating itself on this stuff. Back when automobiles first started being mass produced, everybody's like, "Oh, this is just a fad. This will never take off."
Right?
Give me my
no
horse
one's going to
and buggy.
replace my horse.
And then the wagon rights and the wheel rights, the wheel rights were okay. They just went to work for Henry Ford.
Right.
Wagon rights, they had to retrain, and
Learn how to build
and
car bodies.
back when I was mentoring, it's been a few years, but even then, this was still on the horizon, right? This has been on the horizon for a while.
Right.
I was telling my younger students, you guys in your 20s, learn how to code
For real.
because for real, man, the cybersecurity is going to be an issue on these trucks. And if you can learn how to do that, dude, you're set. Those of us that are older and can't learn new things so easy, I'm just hoping that they don't
Right.
put me out of work before I have a chance to retire.
For
I mean
real.
that if you're in your 20s or 30s, you're going to be okay no matter what happens. You can bounce back. The older you are, a little more
Oh, that
scary
was
for us.
beautiful.
A little more scary for us. That's the reality.
Right.
But we're that's why we're looking at, okay, so what can we do at our age with this
Right.
technology? You know,
So Kelly Furlong said she's going to reach out to us and see if she can do better to stay successful. Hey, by all means, you should do that. Hit us up in PMs. We will be more than happy to chat with you. Seriously. And Coach's Twisted Mud Flap Service. Didn't anyone get you a Zippo for Christmas? No. You know why? Wait. I'm just gonna. I don't like Zippos for
he's a
cigars.
butane guy.
I don't like. I used to like a Zippo for a cigarette back when I did that years and years ago. But I don't like them for cigars. It's weird. I don't know. It does something to the cigar. I don't like the flavor of the Zippo fluid in the cigar. So yeah, that'll never happen. An old school wood match, but damn, it takes so long to light a cigar that way. I'm just saying. That would be ideal, but whatever.
So Jason thinks that Swift offers lease because they need drivers, but a self-driving truck means no more leases. I am going to disagree with you on that.
Yeah,
What a lease does is transfer risk from them to us, with the possibility of us making more money. Why wouldn't they do that with self-driving trucks? Charley and I lease one of these things. We're responsible for the maintenance. We're responsible for the upkeep.
The cost.
All that cost, insurance, all of that. That's why these carriers do lease programs, is because we carry some of the cost. And if you become good at what we do, the payoff is you make more money than a company driver. That's the trade-off.
Right. Hey, Sue said that they're going to digital permits.
They've been saying that for a while, though. I mean, some of the states are digital now, like New Mexico. That's been digital for a while. I would love it if they went 100% with that. That'd be great.
I just wanted to put that up because it's funny to read. Digital scaredles me. There will be some sort of glitch. I just wanted to bust you out on that because it's fun, Sean. I apologize, sir. Digital scares me is what he's saying because I can read Texan. You owe me a punch in the face for that one. It's fair. What are you trying to say, Kenneth? What are you trying to say? Are we what man? What?
It's 18 minutes, by the way.
Yeah, it
just
was
saying.
A while ago when you put that up. Just saying.
Oh, so you're just ignoring people now.
It was 8 minutes ago. Yeah. Oh my God. What is going on? Sorry, chat. Sometimes I have to scroll past some of the chat. They make me giggle, but probably not appropriate to put up. I don't know.
Right.
Because I'm trying to stay out of all that other nonsense. Anyhow, so yeah. What the hell? Trucker Dan, what's up, buddy? Logic Payback, they made their first delivery to Pepsi. Oh, on the Embark, or no, that was Tesla, right? Tesla made their first delivery to Pepsi.
Right.
Excuse me. So that was the all electric trucks. And yeah, that's going to be that's another one. I want an electric truck. I just wish the range was better so I could run a team in it. That'd be awesome. Not even a full team. I just need to be able to get out and back if I'm going to do it. Because I could put a truck like that on this Target account.
There you go.
And if I could get 900, 1,000 miles with a quick charge in the middle,
Mhm.
That would work.
I think
You
right
know,
now it's about 600 if you do a quick charge in the middle, is what they're
right?
saying.
Miss Charles says, yeah, they still have a long way to go. They do, but it's not as far as we all as many think it is, right? Like people are still talking decade, 2 decades, and I don't think so.
No,
You
I
know,
think there's the way technology goes. Of course, the government's behind this, so they're getting money from that. But the other thing is, this is a technology that the consumers actually want. You know, there were
right,
people buying Teslas when they were crap just because they were the first. Well, it's like me and the iPad, right, Charlie? I
right.
got the first iPad, and it sucked. But doggone it, I wanted the iPad because it was the first tablet that actually did anything. And people did that with Tesla, you know. And now other manufacturers are starting to get in the game, and people are buying them. That's the thing.
Right. So, Coach's Media Empire Crumbling says 2 years running my current Cascadia, 0 dealer visits for repairs, just regular service visits. I'm blessed. Absolutely. And I'm hoping
Absolutely.
that I get to stick. I'm hoping to be able to say the same thing because, yeah, I'm hopeful. I'm a little afraid of new trucks. Like I knew what was wrong with Chewy, the old truck, right? I knew
Hmm.
what kind of things to expect. But with a brand new truck, you're like, I don't know, man. Like it could run a day and explode.
Well, every time you get into a different truck, whether it's new or used, you're rolling those
Yeah.
dice.
Total
You know,
crapshoot, man.
everybody by now knows my story with my 2012. It was a total lemon. I almost lost my business over that truck.
Right?
And then my 2016, yeah, there's the maintenance, regular maintenance. I mean, the only major thing I've done to it is that DPF clean, you know. So if
So,
you get
dude,
it, if you have a good truck, buy that truck. I'm just saying.
for real, like, don't get rid of a good one. Dude, this was a crazy story. Did you see that story? Family drove over a cliff in their Tesla in Cali, 250-foot fall, and they survived, yo.
Wow, that's
I'm just
impressive.
saying, that was pretty amazing. I would have pretty much written them off, halfway down, going, they're going to explode. That sounds terrible, but what that you hear the stories about the batteries catching fire and traumatic injury to the batteries causes flames that people can't put out. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm like, damn, 250, holy crap! I don't think I could handle that. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't walk away from that ever. Oh God. That's a good question. Dumb Slow Cooper. What's the shortest lease possible in the oldest truck? Um, I bet, oddly enough, it was an odd thing to see, but I actually saw someone that had like a 6-month lease.
Hmm.
And it was like I don't know,
Was
like a
that like a takeover
2016 or a
lease?
17. Yeah, it was like just finish it up and be done type of deal. You know what I mean? And that was a couple years ago, I want to say. I couldn't honestly say now what they're doing or what the shortest one is. Daycab said, enjoying the show. Hey, everybody. Hey, appreciate you enjoying the show. Sorry, we're a little shorted out in the
Well,
brain right now.
we had a plan and Brett let us down. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
put that out there.
I didn't say that.
Sue will tell on me, and that's okay.
Oh, my God. Dumb Slow Cooper said, get a Zippo already. I already spoke to that. Don't make me look. Let's fight. Meet you outside. Not really. I don't want to fight. Oh, my God. Oh, look, there's some stuff. What the? Re-
What the hell?
wait.
I'm
Read up. What did
confused.
Coach's ugly sweaters say? I'm scrolling
It's
to
starting to go pretty quick.
yeah, I'm lost. I don't see it. I don't know
You
what you want
looking
me to
for
look at.
Truckers Coach TC? Were you looking at this one? Oh, well, that's not the one.
Oh,
It's going pretty fast today, man.
yeah, look, y'all are gonna have to bear with me because my brain is not that quick.
I'm
Okay,
having to scroll back up.
yeah, right. They can't feel like
That was the one I centered on. ERF just had too much deadhead. Yeah, I'm still gonna say though, my bottom line did go up on ERF,
yep,
and I've talked to Becky about it. I've talked to Charlie about it. Pretty much the only person I haven't really talked to about it is Sue. It's just I don't like being over there, man. You know what I mean? Yeah, I was making a little more money. You know, maybe $200 a week. I mean, it wasn't game changing, but it was more. And that deadhead did take a little getting used to, but
Right.
it was more short haul miles at the higher pay rate, and my bottom line went up. So but it doesn't get me past the fact that I just like doing coast to coast OTR.
Right.
It's another one of those things, you know, people get our case. Well, I don't want to do 60. Well, I do 60, but I don't want to do ERF. How's that?
Right.
It's the same sort of decision, right?
Right.
I know that it's going to cost me money, but I like doing what I do.
Daycab said, I feel like electric and self-driving trucks are being pushed by regulation more than the popular demand. Maybe some of the megas would like them, but it's probably to get tax breaks. I'm sure there are huge tax breaks in there
There's
somehow.
you know,
But
I
there's a
think
lot
that's
of
legit.
investment.
I think that's legitimate. But these companies right now, like Swift Knight, their tax break is nothing compared to what they're investing in this technology.
Yeah. Didn't they say they dumped like it was
I think it was more money than we want to think about.
right. It was an astronomical number that they dumped into one of these
It
companies.
was like was it
holy
like
hell.
$1 billion? Wasn't it $1 billion or something like that?
100 million.
It was a lot. It was a lot of money.
More zeros than I got, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, power to them.
And of course, when companies do that, what they're banking on is their investment now will pay later, right? So we'll see. You know, we saw the same thing with solar years ago. I have solar on my house now. Why? Because it made sense.
Right.
It wouldn't have a decade ago when all those crazy, you know, the Cylindra thing. We'll just leave it at that.
Right.
You know.
Excuse me.
So
Crazy Cooper, the trucking gopher, said, I also want the absolute cheapest payment on the oldest truck. I'll take the risk.
oh, you want the cheapest payment? Go to Aero Truck Sales.
Right?
Especially this time of year when they're clearing out last year's inventory, they usually have payments if you can get the payments. I mean, of course, you got to put the money down. You have to have a good credit score, but I see payments from them as low as like $800 a month on a 3-year-old truck.
Go pick up a good, you know, like a 03 somewhere, man, and do that way. Pick one up for 20 grand. Put another 10 into a motor.
Yeah.
And another 10 for a tranny and 4 grand for rear ends. And good God, you're what, $55,000 on a truck that'll run you another 1,000,000 miles and be far more reliable than anything being put out today. Because none of the electronic, the EGR,
right, all these
emissions.
Yeah, I've noticed that, Charlie. You know,
yeah, Jeff's dying.
That was good. I mean, I've noticed that a lot of what people are saying on the Facebooks is electronics. The engine isn't dying. The DPF isn't dying. It's the electronics.
Right.
You know, that run all that stuff. So.
Right. Sorry, trying to catch up on chat. Y'all are blowing it up tonight.
Oh, here you go.
Oh, the Peter goes back in the shop.
Peter goes back in the shop again. Yeah. Sorry to hear that, man.
That sucks. That music's in my head all the time. Just saying.
Oh man, I was way behind. Holy cow.
Trucker's coach. Is it true I have to be OTR to be on the load board? Yes and no.
Yes.
Technically, yes.
If you're part of the 100 testers, there's some wiggle room, but I think when it gets released to the wild, it's going to be OTR only. Because here's what I found trying to do ERF and being a load board tester. I'm seeing loads like out of Georgia going to Phoenix. I'm not saying no to that load. I'm not going to just let that go. Well, that takes me out of the ERF. Right. And then I got to figure out a way to get back, which means talking to Jerry and Jerry going, what are you even doing here? Right. You're supposed to be east of the 35. So I think I think there's some negotiation room there, Charlie. know, if people want to be on the low board, they're like, look, I promise, I pinky swear, stick a needle in my eye, all that stuff, I will stay in the ERF. They might give you a chance, but like right now, I feel bad because I live in Utah, right? And I
Right.
leave that zone every time I go home, and I've been trying to get back in zone within 2 loads. That's been my goal. And so far I've
Right.
been able to do it. But then I see those loads going to Phoenix. I'm like, well, I'm not saying no to that.
Right.
I need to take that. That's a good load. That, you know, right now with the way freight is, that's your week almost.
Yeah,
You know,
for real.
you do that and then do another 600-mile load. That's more than some people are getting right now. So I feel kind of bad, although talking to some guys that have been running ERF for a while, you know, there's a game you could play where as long as you have a load that originates in the ERF, even if it terminates outside, just
Right.
make sure you get back. And they're not losing their contracts for doing that.
Right.
They're not being forced back onto an OTR contract, but it feels weird, right, Charlie?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, Charlie and I have talked about this. We have these moral dilemmas sometimes. It's like, yeah, okay, so Alan,
I
he
don't
does
judge anyone
that.
else for it, mind you, but
So
we our own little personal stuff.
Alan tells me this is okay, but you know, Alan, you know, he just kind of
Right.
does
Alan's a little
his
sketchy.
thing.
Come on, let's be real. I mean, I
Yeah.
love that guy. Love that guy.
So, you
Hey,
know,
Dix on 6 said, I'll write off all those repairs and have a new truck after 3 years. And that's exactly what we're talking about with buying an older truck, because
yeah.
that's like reality right there.
Well, you remember Rutherford years ago, like 15 years ago, when he first started his radio program. There was a couple guys that called in regularly that started out with literally like $8,000 cab overs,
Right.
and they only lasted like a year. But at the
Oh,
end of
yeah.
the year, you know what they did? They bought a $35,000 truck,
Cash.
cash, and then 2 years later, they're sitting in a $60,000 truck,
Right.
and a couple years after that, they're stroking a check for an in-frame and driving it another 1,000,000 miles.
Right.
Yeah,
Or buying a
so
brand new Western Star, because whatever. Or
yeah, there
glider.
was some guys that did that too.
You know.
Had
Hey,
that
Terry
glider thing
Cabover
ended up being a nightmare.
said, Embark ain't it. I want to do a video on them. I used to drive for them. That's interesting. I'd actually like to hear some of that experience. I think that would be a neat thing.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about the technology to be able to really dip into it. I just, from what I read in the industry crap, and let's face it, a lot of the industry crap is kind of
Crap.
slanted so that they look good. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Well, again, there's those two schools of thought, even in journalism, right? There's the people that are like, yeah, these things are taking over the universe.
right.
And then there's the other crowd that's like, this stuff doesn't work. There doesn't seem to be a good middle actual analysis of the technology. I think I've
Right.
seen maybe 2 articles the last year that tried to actually do a real actual here's where we are.
An unbiased statistical breakdown.
Yeah, sure.
Huh?
That's what he said.
Yeah, words, big words. Mike Henderson. Hey, I actually want to touch on this. When you guys talk with Brett, ask him how we get the Samsung camera. No one seems to be able to tell me. You know what? Watch this. Jeff's
You
going to
know
tell you
what?
right now. Pow.
I'm going to tell you that I was wrong again. So the information I was trying to put out was, and I backed this up with Charlie just to make sure I wasn't crazy, what they told us in that live video about it, that they were going to stock those things. We got an email from Brett today saying that they are not going to stock the Samsara camera, nor are they going to install them at this time. So if you want the Samsara, you're going to have to get it and have it installed either an outside shop or do it yourself. How they're going to link to it, I don't know.
Right.
But he did say that he's going to have a meeting in the next couple of weeks with the safety department to hammer out, hey, you know, why can't we stock these? You know, Charlie and I were talking about it. They don't even need to stock them. Just say, okay, I want the Samsara. I live next to West Valley City. Order
Right.
it. I'll be home in 3 weeks.
Right. That
And
seems
put
like
my,
it should be a thing.
so I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, Sue's the smartest person in the room today. Sign in is how they will sign in. But you know what I mean? You know, you got something that belongs to you now. But I mean, when you buy these cameras, they do belong to you anyway. But when Swift installs those other cameras, they're going to do all that stuff as they install it, right? Without having to get on the phone with safety and say, okay, here's my little IP code or whatever. So, yeah, I have to say I'm not that happy with what we found out today about that.
Right. It was kind of a bummer, for real.
But we're hoping by next Tuesday we'll have an actual insurance quote for you guys from this other organization, and that the camera will be a non-issue. That's the goal.
Right.
Get your Falcon Eye. Absolutely get a Falcon Eye or whatever camera you love. I'm kind of a broken record on that. I just think it's that the Falcon Eye is one of the better cameras out there. I've been able to talk to some guys that have them, and they really like them. I mean, and it's a true black box. It doesn't time out like some of these other cameras do. It's recording live all the time, so that when that spread axle guy takes out your driver's side headlight, you've got it on record. You've got a recording of it.
So, Daycab said, so if you sign a contract to be on ERF, can you break outside and do OTR work, or would that require a separate contract? Technically a separate contract, but like Jeff was saying earlier, you can kind of dip out of it for a second as long as you're going right back in, and they tend not to worry too much about it. But it is what it is. I mean, you just got to be prepared for them to be like, hey, that's not ERF, yo. Why are you in Portland?
You need to be prepared for that call where they say, hey, you're supposed to be east of the 35. What are you doing over there in LA?
Right.
Well, I say, I haven't been talked to yet about it, but again, I've been like, mainly when I go home, of course, just making sure that within 2 loads,
right,
I'm back east of the 35. I have been able to do that, and they seem to be okay with that so far. But again, I signed an ICOA saying that I would run that region, right?
Right.
And that's what they should expect of me.
Trucker's Coach, we were using Restream until 3 weeks ago, and I've switched to StreamYard. And it wasn't because I thought StreamYard was any better than Restream. It was because of their webinar feature that we are working on other stuff. And because of their webinar stuff, they actually have a dedicated site for the webinar side. As far as the basic service we're using right now, as far as the live streaming stuff, there's no difference. Slightly different format, no difference other than that as far as I can tell. And I've been using Restream since we started the show.
Biggest difference is to remember to double click to start your broadcast.
Right? That go live button, man. It's 2 clicks instead of 1. I'm like, dang it, man. But yeah, sorry. Nerd question. Just had to throw it out there. Repair to the reason Swift gives you what is that? Repair to the reason Swift gives you 3 weeks until first payment, gives you a chance to bank some money, but most people are lazy those first 3 weeks. You could look at it that way. I don't think that that's why they do it, but I think that it's
I think they
feel it out.
I think they do it to sell trucks.
Right. I mean, yeah, it's a great sales technique. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah, and you are right on that second point though, that most people do not take advantage of those 3 weeks. And you absolutely should. You should take that $600, whatever your payment is, and just putting it aside like you didn't even earn it. And just let it sit there. That way, if you do have a semi-major breakdown, like I did years ago, I was 12 days at a hotel in Memphis. And I was able to cash flow that and not have to go into one of those nasty rentals.
Right.
And just wait it out.
Nevada Trucking Trail said, how often are you guys changing your tires? This is a question we love.
When I need to.
Well, that wasn't the amazing answer I was expecting, Jeff. Jeff's like 300,000-ish miles or something like that.
For the drives, yeah.
Yeah, for drives.
Just under 200 for the steers.
I can't even tell you how long my last set of wide singles lasted because they're still on that truck and still good. But I want to say they're a couple years old, so that's at least 200,000 miles.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know. Honestly, yeah. But, we drive slow, and I molest tires, and I'm constantly checking pressures, and I really monitor tires, and Jeff monitors his fairly well. But he's got those really crappy tires that won't wear out that really cost him a few miles. So I just had to throw it out there. My bad.
So when you molested my tires a few weeks ago, Charlie, how much tread was on them? Could you even... It's over half.
New still. Yeah,
it's over half, and I've had them on for a year and a half, so
it's ridiculous.
Logging tires, man.
Okay, that's just a funny statement. And a sad statement. I know a driver who has his own time card in the shop due to many visits. When is a truck considered a lemon? Well, I've actually helped people get out of truly lemon trucks in the past. Same problems over and over and over. Same problem. It's hard when you can't associate a string of problems to each other, because that's kind of what the lemon thing falls back under, the same problem over and over and over type of deal typically. If you really are having an issue, Alex, seriously, man, reach out, hit me on Facebook or something, and let's see what we can help you. We got some pretty good relationships in the shops.
I could tell you that for me, mine was the SCR system, the DEF system. Over the 3 years that I had that truck, it was in the shop every quarter for some sort of DEF related issue. And in the end, they did let me out of that lease, and I got my 2016. I actually ended up out of that lease about 9 months early. And it was just, well, understand this too. I got to put this out there, Charlie. When I got rid of that truck, I still owed Swift $10,000 for the maintenance that was due on it. They did not let me out of the maintenance on that truck while I owned it. But hey, I was good with that. We wrote up a note for that. It took me a year to pay off. And I got my truck I've got now, which I now own, and it's been a great truck. So if you truly have a limit and you can show it's the same problem over and over again, they will work with you. Keep in mind, though, that also when this happened to me, there was no shortage of trucks. There was no supply chain problems. There was none of that. So it's a different ball game right now, I think, a little bit.
Hey, Cecil, sorry I missed you on the phone, buddy. I apologize. We got kind of wrapped up over here, and I bailed on you. I'm sorry, dude. If you want, hit it back, and I will keep an eye out for you.
So for the 4-camera system, because I've been shopping this, with the black box, you're looking at anywhere from $800 to $1,500, depending on how many cameras you want with it, and whether or not you want it to be accessible through the cloud. Like Alan's got
how large a hard drive?
Alan's got, well, it's SD cards, so you just put whatever in there. So Alan's got the one where he can actually watch his other driver drive live, which I don't know, man, that seems a little creepy to me, but hey, it's his truck. And I think that one's close. That one's over $1,000 for that one. So right in the same ballpark as the cameras that Swift is trying to peddle on us, but they have no control over it. So there you go.
Right.
And installed, I don't know. I was just going to do my own install on it.
I was a super single guy. Look, so when I bought my 07, right, it was a used 07, had 490,000 miles on it, bought it for 42,000 miles. When I looked at the truck, it literally had 10 completely different tires on it. That's how it was sitting on the lot. And I'm like, yeah, we're going to have to do something about that if you want me to buy the truck, right? And they're like, well, we really don't, we got a bunch of retreads and some other crap. And I saw a truck sitting about 2 trucks over from that one that had Michelin wide singles on it that were retreads, but they were retreads with Michelin treads and done by Michelin, right? So I took a chance and I said, throw those tires on there and I'll take the damn truck. Anyway, I took the truck and they were probably 50% life when I got them, and they ran me 150, 200,000 miles.
And what was the sales guy's reaction when you said you wanted wide singles?
He couldn't believe it. He's like, man, we've taken those things off of 6 or 7 or 8 different trucks because nobody will take them. I'm like, I'm your guy. And I ran wide singles on that truck from 490,000 to 1.7 million miles. And never did I lose a drive tire due to a catastrophic tire failure. Not once in the entire time. But I'm a tire molester. I constantly am checking pressures. I'm looking at the wear and tear, and I'm watching those things. The only problem that I ever had with those tires was freaking sand, man. Sugar sand is like kryptonite, I swear to God. Like I can drive, this Cascadia that I have now all around my yard and not worry about it. I moved my Freightliner with the wide singles, man, if I move off my path that I laid rock for, I'm spinning tires and I got to bump it out of there with, a stupid car because, I need to have my manhood removed at that point. You know what I mean? So whatever. But look, I dug them. I seriously, I never had a problem with them. I used to drive exclusively from Kent, Washington to Sydney, Nebraska, or Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin. I did that twice a week, year round for 3 years straight. Twice a week, back and forth. Never had traction problems. Never wrecked out. Never ended up in a ditch. I was throwing chains. Good God, it seemed like every day in the winter, and 2 or 3 times a day in the winter sometimes. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I liked them. The only reason I don't have them now is because I'm in a lease truck and they won't let me put wide singles on it. Otherwise, I would.
Well, and you and I talked about the cost versus benefit of doing the conversion too, because I was
Yeah,
thinking about doing
right.
it on my truck. And with the new tires and the new compounds they're using in the energy line, it really doesn't pay out like it used to,
Right.
you know. So if you already have them, I would keep them. Like Charley will probably eventually take those tires off of Chewy and put them on the Cascadia, right?
Yeah. 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 I'm still, I'm still kind of leaning to not selling the Freightliner, my Chewy, my Century. I don't know, man. I can't part with that truck.
Well, eventually you're going to strip it all down,
Yeah. I want to
and
make it pretty again and make her the
you make
prom
it
queen once
purty.
again. But yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. Freightliner is junk. Bite your tongue, sir.
I know. I get.
Oh, well, wait. I'm going to hand it to you because I'm looking at your picture and I do like that grill. So I'll hand it to you for the grill, but whatever. I don't like international. I had an international, didn't care for it. Just going to throw it out there. Whatever. We can fight later. Knuckles up. Nah, too old for that shit. Uh,
You get yourself in trouble again, Charley.
I know it, man. Someone's gonna actually want to fight, and I ain't that guy. I don't want to. Whatever. Let's see. There's so much chat, like I can't keep up with it. If I were driver Swift, can I take my couch from my house? Wait. If I were to drive for Swift, can I take my couch from my house? I have a special attachment to my couch at home. Hey, look, man, if you can make it work, I say do it.
Yeah, man. Hey.
Yeah, oh God, I'm gonna giggle about that later after the show. Watch.
Oh, I wanted to mention
Whew.
something about my remodel. So someone
Oh
before
yeah.
mentioned, "Oh, now you don't have a bunk heater." I do have a bunk heater. So I was going to move it to closer to the driver's side luggage compartment. But here's the thing: when I got everything torn out and I looked at how that thing was installed, I'm not moving that thing. It's going to stay exactly where it's at. it's it's they've got that thing in there in such a way, they had to cut the bottom out of the floor and put another steel plate on there. That's the mounting bracket for that bunk heater. And I looked at it and I'm just not willing to move it.
Right.
And I'm also not willing to idle my truck when it's 20 degrees out when I have a bunk heater. Right. So it's going to stay where it's at, and I'm going to put a little shroud over it so that I don't burn my feet, because they get hot.
So, Cooper's Adventure starring Huckleberry Hound. Super singles are dangerous. I don't get why you use them. Zero benefits. I call bullshit.
Yep.
They are absolutely. Explain to me why you think they're dangerous, and I will argue with you on that. Explain to me why there's zero benefits, and I'll argue with you there because with the right set of wide singles, it's the best rolling resistant tire on the road.
Yep.
Therefore, the most money making tire on the road because it saves you more in fuel. Dangerous? I don't think so. You take care of the tire, and it's not a problem.
And
Like I
and
said,
you have the proper offset.
right? The proper offset's important so that you're not eating up wheel bearings because, a lot of people, in fact, Swift did this when they went to wide singles. They put a bunch of wide singles on trucks for a while
Just
and they were trying
willy-nilly.
it out and they put the wrong offset rim on it. And what happened? They ate bearings up and said, oh, wide singles are junk. No, you put the wrong equipment on. It wasn't the tire's fault. It was the rim's fault, really. And the person who put the rims on that truck and spec'd that truck was the one that screwed that up.
Right.
I mean, whatever, Uh, Yeah, we can fight about wide singles all day long. I don't mind. Yeah. And then there was another one. Internationals are junk. No, that's not the one. I apologize. This person said OTR Vic. I apologize. It was an international. This is what caught my OTR Vic said. I'll take an international LT with a Cummins any day. So statistically speaking, the reason that I stay with Freightliner over the years is from a statistics standpoint for the trucks that we had available to us, short of a big square nose Pete, which I would never drive. I'd love to drive one, but they
Can't
cost too much
afford
to
it though.
drive. The fuel mileage loss is ridiculous. So that just removes that equation, right? As far as the reliability of the modern EGR and emission type trucks, Freightliner statistically have had a better track record than the other manufacturers. They've had less downtime, less time in the shop. Now, they're not without their problems. I will hand you that, absolutely. But it's not for me running the business. I'm looking at the cost to do business, the cost of my equipment. So, there you go. Rim or wheel? It's the rim offset. It's the way that the rim hangs over the wheel assembly. Some of them were like a 2-inch offset, and I couldn't tell you which way it went. I believe it actually protruded 2 inches instead of recessing 2 inches. And what that did is it put a lot of stress on the end of the wheel assembly, and it was eating up bearings and completely blowing the whole wheel assembly off the damn axle. So yeah, I'm just saying. Let's see. Oh, it's going fast again.
Yeah.
Oh, and the cost of parts, like Sue said. I mean, cheaper parts and more availability on Freightliner products. It just is what it is, man. I mean, look, I'm not saying that a Freightliner is the best truck. I'm saying that statistically speaking, and for the cost of doing business, it's the smarter move from what we've seen in the past. That's not to say International says that this year and last year they made some big changes to their manufacturing and the setup of the trucks. However, we don't know yet.
Yeah.
So there you go.
We need data. So if any of you guys want to roll those dice, we would really love to see some data from your trucks.
Right. Someone asked for an insurance update. Blackbeard. Go ahead. Finish what you got.
The last time we were promised something like that was from Volvo. And, we had one dude go out of business driving a Volvo. And we've had other people get 9 miles to the gallon in a Volvo.
Yeah.
They seem to be just freaking everywhere. Doesn't seem to be much consistency. And I think I figured out part of it is that remote tuning that they can do from Volvo.
Right.
I think they mess with the settings until they get it right. But, so maybe they turned them the wrong way for Matt.
Right.
I mean, when you're messing with EGRs, ECM settings like that, you put a decimal point in the wrong place, and all of a sudden you're getting 4 miles a gallon. So I think that they have good potential, but we need to see them do better. Okay, insurance update.
Insurance
Blackbeard.
update. Blackbeard, sorry. Squirrels, they're everywhere. The chat's going. I'm like, anyhow. So, yeah. So, what we got is we've submitted the list to Tony.
Right. So there's a story behind that a little bit. So what happened was we told this guy that Swift had 1,500 owner operators, and he went with that thinking, well, we need a good sample size for 1,500 people then. And then Jeff Reese talked to him and said, well, there's only like 300 members of the group.
Right.
And that changed things. So now all of a sudden we've got a good representation of our group, not 1,500, but our group. So they're going ahead and submitting it. And the exciting thing is all of you guys are better than average drivers.
Right. Look, I'm not going to lie. I was a little worried because, I've seen some of the accident reports and things like that as we chat in the group, things like that. And I was like, man, I wonder what, everybody's driving history is. I mean, I know mine, I know Jeff's. That's it, man. I mean, I don't know anything unless you guys tell us, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And apparently we came in as far less a risk than average. So what they initially said was, based on that alone, the rate should be better than what they anticipated to start with. Not that we have a rate, but they were already saying they thought they could beat Swift's rate. And now that we have a sample size, and like we said earlier, make sure you look for that email from insurance@contractorscorner.network. Respond to the email I sent today. If a couple of you didn't get it, I did have a couple that bounced back for some reason. I'll reach out to those individuals through Facebook or other means if I have to get the information we need. But what they need is the model year, the make model of your truck, and the estimated loss value on your truck. They're trying to get an average out of that to see what the average,
So
cost would be.
right now, guys, that's really easy since you have to print out your certificate of insurance anyway.
Right.
I mean, I've got mine right here, and it says right here that my truck is insured value is $40,000.
Mine's on my printer right now. Printed it out yesterday. Just haven't picked it up. Gonna
And
pick it up on the way out the door.
that's what he's looking for, is what the insured value looks like for the fleet that we're trying to
Right.
insure.
And so
So
we are hoping to have a price, a quote price, package price by next Tuesday. We're hoping that is going to happen. They believe they can get it done by the end of the week and that we will be able to present it to you all early next week, hopefully by the start of the show. So that will be cool. Let's see. There's another insurance thing. I ran a new insurance quote with First Guard today. Was quoted $541 a month, which is the same as I'm paying now. That's for a single driver quote. Hey,
okay,
good information. Definitely something to keep in mind if it's what you're paying now. I mean, hell, that's
it's the
do they have a
same only
camera
without a
requirement?
camera.
Man,
Yeah.
that's a good option. Keep that in your pocket. I would say give us a week. Let's see what kind of rate we can get worked up for us in our group and see what happens. Let's see. There's a bunch of stuff. When you back, you wear out tires. More tire stuff. When you back, you wear out tires due to turning rather than rolling. How do super singles wear? I haven't had trailer tires. I couldn't answer that question. I never had any issues on the tractor. Excuse me. Let's see what else. Cheaper part. Yeah, I got that one. Sorry, guys. Going through all the chat, trying to get caught back up. A 2010 Volvo caused him to go bankrupt, says Mike Henderson. That sucks.
Yeah, it does.
Let's see.
That is, I'll just put it out there though. That is part of the risk of being in business for yourself, though. Mike's doing pretty good now, I think.
Right.
Made it over that hurdle, and now he's doing pretty good. It's all in how. I bet, Mike, that you learned some things from that.
I would hope.
And that's why you're doing better now.
So, Coach's Twisted Mud Flap Service said, you always get weird tire wear on a trailer. I wouldn't want super singles on a trailer. I'd rather replace just the tire that needs replaced due to cupping wear. So with cupping on wide singles, now, I didn't have my own trailer with wide singles on it, but I actually saw balance beads help resolve a cupping issue in a wide single tire. And proper inflation.
Yeah, see, I think we talked about this before. There's the Swift recommendation of 110 pounds of pressure in a tire, right? You talk to Mike Beckett, and he wants your steers at like 125 at this point. That's what he's recommending. So, what I've learned from him, listening to him over the years, is molest your tires like Charley. Learn what the different wear patterns mean for inflation, the inflation of the tire, and start pumping up or deflating, and see what that does to your tire. And eventually you'll figure out what pressure to put your tire at. Or you can listen to him, and if you got wide singles, you're way up there past your comfort zone.
Right. Look, I used to run my wide singles at 120, and I did pretty good. I dropped into 115-ish and honestly did just as good. Anything below that, and I started getting weird little things happen to tires. So I went right back up to 115, 120 range. It got to the point where I was running 120 and I'd let the air loss drop to about 115, and they always seemed to stay fairly even. So I get back down to 115 and put them back to 120. And I aired
Yep.
them in the dark at sea level because I had that luxury because I live at I'm at like 9 feet above sea level. Just saying,
Yeah.
you know,
I've got almost that much snow.
right. For real. And when I lived in Oregon, I was the same situation there. I was at sea level. I was 23 feet above sea level where I was at. So yeah, it was, always did it at night, and when winter comes, you got to change those pressures because that cold air, all that good stuff.
So,
There's some more.
so Charlie, because I know you've used both Centromatics and balance beads.
I like the balance beats
Why is that?
because they actually balance the entire tire versus the wheel end that the Centromatics do. The Centromatics, the way that they mount either between the duals, so they balance kind of between those two tires, right? Or if it's a wide single, they mount on the inside of that tire, so they balance the wheel end itself. Whereas the beads will balance the entire that circumference of the tire, as well as spreading out across the face of each tire. So each tire is individually balanced versus the wheel group itself. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So
And you can, so even if you guys are using Swift shops to get your tires, you could just pick these balance beads up at
Love's, TA,
Love's.
Petro, I mean, any of those places carry them now.
Yeah, I mean, because I was talking to Charlie about this because Centromatics are a one and done option, whereas with the balance beads, you've got to buy new beads for every new set of tires.
Right.
So, what's the cost of balance beads for a set of duals on the dries?
I want to say they're, God, I can't remember because I haven't put them in this truck yet. It's
Because
been a
I'm
while
an
since the last one.
I'm an idiot. I have bad tires and I haven't used the balance beads yet, so I don't know.
I want to say like 15, 20 bucks a bag per tire.
Okay, so not too
You
bad.
know? Yeah, it's really not that bad. And what Centromatics are a buck and a half per axle,
Yeah,
something like that. So, and I just think it's a better product. I do, and I run both. I ran Centromatics before the counteract beads came out, and I just really like the beads better. I found better wear and a better life to my tire.
just make sure that if you do have a Swift guy doing it, you watch him and make sure he puts them in properly. He doesn't just throw the bag in there without opening it.
Right. Right. That's a dude. I had a
That's a
guy
thing.
throw the entire bag. So, well, look, if you buy balance beads, there's actually two bags. There's a bag that they sell you with. It's the outer bag, right? And inside that bag is a valve stem, is a cap, is some stickers, and another bag full of beads. They're supposed to take that inner bag out, put that in your tire. And I watched the guy throw the entire thing in there. I'm like, dude, where's the stem, the valve stem? Where's the cap? Where's the sticker? He's like, what? Oh, take the tire back off. And he was not amused, man, because he actually did two tires that way and had them all aired up and everything. I'm like, yep, break them back down, brother. And he was not amused at all. Someone asked about value of the truck. Where to go? Can we up the value of our truck? You should be checking the value of your truck versus what the market will bear right now. You should either be at whichever is greater, the stipulated loss value of your truck or the current market value for your truck.
Right.
That
Because
would
what
be
you don't
my
want to do,
recommendation.
and I'm going to call him Tiny because I can't remember.
Tony, man.
Tony.
Good God.
Tony did touch on that a little bit. You don't want to be underinsured. That's the thing. Because what you're talking about here is your money-making asset.
Right.
So if some dude totals your truck, whatever, obviously not your fault because that doesn't happen at Swift ever.
What's wrong with you, man?
but you total your truck out, you need to be able to replace that truck.
Oh, Lord.
So Charlie and I were just talking about it. The current market, is my truck maybe worth a little bit more than the $40,000 that Chubb thinks it's worth? Maybe. I'd have to look into it.
Right.
But I can tell you this, with $40,000, I can get another truck.
A year and a half ago, his truck was easily $85,000.
Yes, during that crazy
It was
market we had.
ridiculous.
Glad I didn't wreck it then, because I bet it was at 50.
Right. Right. Hey, and Anthony, and right along your question there, the estimated loss value, the stipulated loss value is actually in your contract, and it'll be broken down by week in your
Mhm.
contract, what their stipulated loss value is on that truck by your contract. And so you can look at that. It's in that schedule somewhere, and you'll be able to find that. So yeah, there was some other stuff. They told that's not it. See, Drake Duke, 19 years, no tickets, one accident, not at fault. Cannot get my camera score below 200.
Get rid of the camera.
Get rid of the smart drive.
Hmm.
Just look. I hope we get this insurance deal and you jump on it, because they're not going to require a camera. So yeah, I mean, it's just a thing. Look, it's not that we're anti-camera. We've said that over and
We
over and
love
over.
cameras
We
for
want
liability purposes.
right you to control your camera, not your customer.
We don't want to see scores from some stupid camera.
So, coach's ugly sweater. What is a camera score? So, these folks that have these cameras that do the coaching and kind of the tattletale thing, and it tells on you all this other stuff, they actually build a score against you. However, not against contractors. Contractors don't have a score, and they don't get coaching, not coached. And so yeah, that the word coach is bad in a legal. I had jokes that just popped into my head. I apologize. It's so inappropriate and it's funny, and I can't help it. And some of these guys are just going to go, ha ha ha. We know what you're talking about. Anyhow, so the score is something we're not supposed to have. However, they are going to use these cameras, and they have said this openly, that that if they see a pattern of unsafe behavior, that could then lead to a contract termination, and at the very least a very awkward conversation between you and safety. And
Right.
if you don't change your heathen ways, then you could find yourself without insurance. Without insurance, you have no contract. Without a contract, your business is gone. Just saying.
Yeah.
Can you make the Freightliner stop auto braking while backing?
Mine doesn't do that.
Mine doesn't do that either.
I'm wondering what circumstance you're in where that's happening.
Right? That sounds weird to me.
Yeah.
Let's see. And let's see. Anthony says, "Oh, so Drake Duke said, told Anthony he may need an ECM update. Anthony said he just got an update, done an OKC. So I don't know.
What are you saying?
That
What?
I was going through the response to that original question.
Okay.
Drake Duke answered that and said, Anthony, you may need an ECM update. And Anthony said, Drake, that just got done in Oklahoma City. So I don't know. Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
So tire pressure should be set where they are listed on the tire. Low air pressure reduces weight rating. Yes. It's a fair. I'm not going to tell you to go against manufacturers' recommended tire pressures. How's that?
I will say that if you listen to Mike Beckett talk, he
may make your head explode.
Yeah, he may make your head explode, but he recommends a higher pressure than what's on the side of your tire.
Right.
And he is 200 years old and helped design the first.
I was going to whoop your ass one day.
Helped design the first tire for Henry Ford. So,
Henry Ford, hell, he was making wagons. What are you talking about? Anyhow, that's wrong. Who says things like that? Oh my God.
Yeah, he was one of those wheelwrights. He'll tell you that though, man. You talk to him, he makes no bones about it, man. He's been in this industry for a long time.
Sorry, we're going through. Oh, Jared said Centromatics are up to 200 a set now. I'm assuming you're talking about the set for each axle, so that'd be 600 total. Gotcha. One-time purchase. They do wear out over time.
Yeah, Sue said something about them causing a problem that she had on one of her trucks too up here somewhere.
Oh yeah, right here. I got it.
There we go.
Centromatics can also jam up from buildup. I had that happen with the set that I had and cost me tires. Yeah. Can you imagine having all that weight bound up on one side of the Centromatic?
Yeah.
Your tires just clunk, 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 building that flat spot in the tire every time it goes around.
Well,
Holy hell.
let's keep in mind though that Sue is more of a real trucker than any of us. Driving up there in the Dakotas and the oil fields. So.
Yeah, right. There was some more stuff. Sorry, going through. We're catching up. Sorry, guys. I always sign my contracts in crayons. That's just funny.
I was going to say something about that. Well, because when I signed my ICOA for the ERF, it was on DocuSign.
Nice.
And when
it
you
looked
do
like
the
a
little,
crayon.
yeah, it looks like a crayon when you do the DocuSign thing.
I want a purple crayon to sign my next contract. That's it. Oh, good God. Oh, wait, this is actually kind of interesting. So Cooper says he never has to apply his brakes while driving 55. Doesn't he have to slow down every exit to avoid emerging traffic? You know what? So I drive 60, and I very rarely actually have to do that. I just go about my business, and most people zip on by.
Yeah.
And I drive 60 miles an hour. I don't know. It's weird when I pass people, though. I'm not going to lie. I don't pass them at 60, just to throw it out there. I'm not that jerk clogging up the other lane. I'll actually mash the pedal for a second, get by them, get back in my right lane, and continue directing traffic from the right side.
I actually used to tell my students that if you're passing another truck, you need to ask yourself why. What's going on that guy's going so slow?
Right, because it's
without
weird.
yeah. Especially driving Wyoming in the wintertime. It's like maybe he's going slow for a reason there, guy.
Right. Sorry, going through the chat here. I apologize. Blackbeard said Smart Drive is set up for the driver to accumulate points.
I can see where I could see where you would feel that way.
From what we've heard in different
from what we've seen. Yeah.
Yeah.
So even in my meeting that I had with Brett a couple of weeks ago, Charlie, you remember, he was real adamant about getting the Samsara camera. And the reason was, if you're going to choose to stay with the Swift Insurance, is that camera has a coaching tool on board that alerts you to things and allows you to react before Swift can ever get involved.
Right.
So that seeing a pattern of behavior thing, you can fix that because it tells you with a naggy voice, following too close, you're encroaching on a lane, this, that, and the other thing. It could be annoying, but if you're going to stay with Swift Insurance, I would say that's a pretty good tool because it's gonna make you aware. It's like that early warning system, right? That, okay, if the camera's telling me this and I don't correct this, Swift's going to say I have a pattern. And now my contract is in jeopardy. That one actually tells you ahead of time before Swift ever sees anything, because it doesn't alert Swift until there's a pattern that the AI detects. So I would say if you are going to stick with Swift, that would be my camera of choice at this point, if I was going to stay with Swift Insurance.
I feel like I want to argue this. The side of my tire says minimum tire pressure, not recommended. What I recall off the top of my brain, being a tire molester, it says maximum cold pressure. Doesn't it?
I don't know. I'd have to go out and look.
God, I want to go look right now. God, I hate you right now. Mr. Charles, I hate you.
Yeah, one of the things that the last show I caught with on the XM, when they were on the XM with Mike Beckett and Rutherford talking, the challenge they were having on trucks was finding an air compressor that would actually pump tires as high as they were talking about.
Yeah, none of the truck stops at the fuel islands, none of them will go above like 105, 110.
Yeah.
And
you're like
drives me nuts.
You're like feeding their pressure tank. at a certain point. So
Okay, I know you're just poking at someone, but I can't help. My friend Randall has a blow-up doll. He wants to know if the doll would be considered a passenger.
only for the HOV lane.
Yeah, you know. Hey, Mr. Charles, I appreciate that, man. It does say maximum cold pressure. There you go. So yeah,
And you talk to tire guys other than the people that were just talking about, and they will stick to that because of liability.
right,
You get a set of tires at Love's, and they will only air them up to that maximum cold pressure.
right.
They will not do anything else. And
Oh, wait, I've had a Loves tell me they wouldn't air my tires past 110, even though the tire said 120. Oh no, we can't do that. Our policy says we can't go above 110. I'm like, well, your policy is stupid, and so are you. And I left. I just left. I was like done with these people. And I was there for a service, and I said, I want you to check my tire pressure because it was cool. I had been parked. It was one of the rare times that I was out on the road and I was actually parked all night, and they were going to get service me in the morning. And it was still dark. I'm like, yeah, let's do the tires, man. Make sure they're right. And they're like, no, we can't go past 110. I'm like, you're a freaking whatever. I'm out. Y'all ain't touching my truck. And Super Ego Waffles men with a million excuses.
So there's a couple of things we could say about this, Charlie.
Right.
In the current freight market, the same amount as you.
Right.
Freight sucks right now. We've been talking about this for months, and there's there's just no reason to go above 60 at this point. The loads don't require it, and it's not like you're trying. There isn't another load on the other end a lot of times. The other answer is this: on a perfect week, driving 60 miles an hour, I'll still get like 3,200 loaded miles a week.
Yeah, when Rosie and I were doing, I'm doing dedicated for the next month because I got a bunch of BA appointments for all of January. Like I have a stupid appointment every damn week in January. It's ridiculous. So I'm doing Target this month. But when Rosie and I were running OTR, I mean, we did what, 5,300 miles a week.
Mm-hmm.
And we weren't teaming super hard. I mean, we were mostly teaming. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't have a problem with it, honestly.
And we've gone over it before, the hard numbers. A 3,000 mile week versus a 3,400 mile week, because I ran at a time and you didn't.
Right.
I'll make more money because I didn't spend as much money on fuel.
Right.
Because I get better fuel mileage.
There's a balancing act.
So there's a balance there. If you're truly needing to do 70 miles an hour and you're truly getting, we actually figured it out one time where the break even was, Charlie. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, I don't either.
But there is a break even that if you could get above so many miles a week, then it does kind of make sense to go faster because you'll make up that loss in fuel. But when you're talking between, say, 2,800 and 3,100 miles a week, the break even's way above that. So you would have to guarantee me that I would get, say, 3,500 miles a week in order to get me to speed up. If you told me I was going to do that every single week, and I did,
right,
then I would think about it. Otherwise, I'll keep doing my 60 again between 2,800 and 3,200 miles a week. And then there's the maintenance that we've talked about, the wear and tear on the truck. I get 300,000 miles out of a set of steers. A guy doing 70 miles an hour or above is going to get 200,000 miles out of a set of steers, or drives rather. That's money. You got to account for all of that when you make the decision to go faster.
I want to touch on one thing real quick, and then I want to go back to Super Ego Hero because I think this is interesting. But Timothy said, even the Love's Tire Pass air hose have low pressure. And okay, I have a problem with the Love's Tire Pass thing because you're pulling in there, your tires are hot. It's probably the middle of the day, and you're letting them check your air pressures, and they're either increasing or reducing based on hot tires.
Mm-hmm. That's bad.
I don't know why you would even use that system. Anyhow, back to Super Ego, and then we got a phone call, and I'll get to you. I'm a little scared of that one. Auto screen skipped by color. Hold on, we'll get to you. Oh, it terminated. Never mind. Dang it. Let's see. Super Ego said he averaged 2,500 miles every week last year, 130,000 total miles, running 68 miles an hour, 9% deadhead, doing 68. And Jeff runs 60.
60. So I could still do that same amount of mileage doing 60, and I'll save $8,000 in fuel that year.
I mean, that's where we pitch it. Super Ego Waffles, men with a million excuses. I just like that name. That's just fun to say. It's a lot.
Now, if you just want to drive fast, okay. But
Oh yeah, by all
what
means.
it costs you. I understand what it costs you.
Look, I'm not saying don't drive 80 miles an hour. I'm saying if you drive 80 miles an hour and you're bitching about the money you're making, then yeah, there's a problem. If someone's paying you to drive faster, you're on a some sort of dedicated route or time sensitive deal where they're actually paying you more to run faster, and it's offsetting the loss that you could save in fuel mileage and wear and tear and tires and stress to your body and all those things. Power to you. Drive as fast as you want. I don't care how fast you drive. But from a business standpoint, looking at the average person, particularly here at Swift, the average person will, not benefit from driving faster. But okay, Super Ego says it cuts down on total loads because you get more delivered.
But again, if we could get you to shift from how many miles or how many loads you do in a week to what is your bottom line? We're in business to make money. So calculate out what that extra load is costing you in fuel and whether or not you're running that load for free or not. Because that is the case for some of these guys that are doing, 80 miles an hour down the road. Again, there are contracts out there through brokers. If you have your own authority, some guys, I don't know. We've gotten a lot of new guys. So I don't know how many of you guys do this, but when you're working with a broker, at Swift, we're on a mileage contract. We know what we're getting paid per mile, day in, day out. This is what
every single load, right?
But if I have my own authority and I go to broker Joe Schmuckatelli brokerage house, and he's got this hot load, and it's going to require me to do 80 miles an hour, and I know what my fuel mileage is. I know what my cost per mile for fuel is. Okay, well, that's going to cost me an extra 5 cents a mile to run that load that way, or whatever it is. You could build that into your rate. We can't do that at Swift. We get paid what we get paid.
Jeff, do you know what your mileage was for this year we just closed out?
It was bad. I could tell you.
The average, they say the average number of miles for the average truck driver, solo over the road truck driver, is 125,000 miles a year.
So just real quick, when I started the year, so this is an indication of how old my truck's getting, Charlie.
Right.
And that I need to pay attention to some things. When I started the year, I know for a fact I was at 8.01 miles per gallon lifetime, and I'm down to 7.89.
Right.
So I did lose some fuel mileage this year. So let's just call it, since we're working with average, my fuel mileage for the year had to have been below that 7.89, right? So let's just call it 7.69, because that's what my last 30 days was, 7.69. So 7.69 miles per gallon is what I probably averaged last year. And I was doing 60 miles an hour. What if I was doing 70, which is the max on a Swift truck? That would have been 6.69.
Right.
At current fuel prices, what's that cost me? I know, we'd have to do some math to really nail that number down. But the rule of thumb that I learned years ago, and again, this is another Rutherford thing. You guys should be catching a clue. You might want to pay attention to that guy.
Right.
Is every 1/10 of a mile per gallon that you lose costs you $10,000 a year in fuel. And he based that on fuel costing.
Cost you 1,000, not 10,000. 1,000.
$1,000. Yeah.
Every 1/10 of a mile costs you 1,000.
Right. So a mile per gallon would be 10,000 miles. $10,000. And he based that back when fuel was right around 350, 375 a gallon.
Right.
And keep in mind that he's normally working with guys with their own authority. So no surcharge, generally speaking, things like that, just straight numbers. We have the benefit of, and we did figure this out recently, Charlie. Remember, we did the math on this. In order to break even on fuel with the surcharge without using the ES card, you got to be doing 8 miles per gallon or better.
Right.
If you're doing 8 miles per gallon or better, you're making a little bit more from surcharge than what you're putting in your tank. And that's using COM data. You throw the ESA card in there, and holy cow, things change.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So that's, yeah, it cuts down on total loads. Sure, I get that. But calculate out what that fuel costs and if it's really worth,
Right.
trying to get that extra load. I could tell you, like, at a Walmart surge, absolutely worth it. I'm pedal to the metal on a Walmart surge.
Hang tight, Randy. We'll get right to you. I got a call. Let's see what he wants. Oh, I can see what he wants. Randy, welcome to the show. He says he's got a question about how long. Go ahead. I'll let you talk, Randy. My bad. I talk too much.
Question was, how long do I have to wait to come back to Swift as a contractor if I was terminated for drive cam events as a contractor? And I know that you got the whole drive cam deal going on where you can get your own.
Right.
And that's what I try to tell my managers. I'll just get my own camera. I don't need to be micromanaged.
Right.
6 months.
And they put me on, they coached me, and she said, hey, can I get a verbal commitment for you to change your habit? I said, yeah, sure. You bet. It'll take a while for me to, adapt and change everything to y'all's liking. But yeah, well, the next day I was placed on safety hold and then terminated. So I wasn't really given a chance.
Right.
After that coaching. So now I'm like, man, I loved it here at Swift. It was great. The people were great. Equipment was great. And I've been trying to come back, but every time I try to apply.
Randy,
like,
I wish you were watching us before you got that truck, because we'd have told you time and time again, pull the smart drive camera out of your truck before you ever drive 1 mile in it.
Yep.
And that's what I initially did. I got the truck from where you're at, Ocala.
Right.
I was in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Got it from Ocala. There were some issues with it. I brought it back. Used it a couple weeks on the intermodal side of it and took it in the shop. Turns out they needed to cut the entire front suspension and rebuild it. So I said, okay, take the camera out of it. And then I'll just get my own. Well, they said, okay. Well, they gave me a spare truck, a company truck, and it had a camera in there.
Oh, damn.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it was my own fault, but when my fleet manager said, hey, you got to change this stuff, I said, okay. But then she called me back, a week later, said, you're terminated. I said, look, I've been driving since 2013. Are there drivers that are better than me? Absolutely. But I'm good.
Right.
Look at my record. Look at my service history. I don't get in accident. You can't find me on, name the website. You can't find me on there.
Right.
I've got nothing on my record. But yet you want to terminate me. I said, I get it. It's business, but I don't think what you're doing is right.
Hey, Randy, you know what you might want to try, and I'm willing to bet you haven't tried, but you might want to try. Send an email to David_Tillman, TILLMAN, at swifttrans.com. Okay. And be aware that this is the top dog for Swift night safety stuff, right? And the guy is reasonable. If there's anything that he can do, he will help. Okay. Explain the situation, be professional. I mean, we've had the guy on the show. He's really a good guy. If there's anything he can do, he will. I can't promise anything. I can't tell you that he'll say, okay, you're good. I don't know the whole, we know your story, and don't take this the wrong way, but we hear one side, right? And we take what you say as the word of whatever, right? Because we don't know what they base their decision on. We don't look, let's be real. Sometimes relationships with driver leaders or safety personnel, that can be a factor on why, maybe they didn't like you. I don't know why, you know what I'm saying? but they couldn't terminate because
Yeah.
they don't like you. They're like, oh, but look, we've got 3 points on him. Let's can the dude, right? I'm not saying that happens. I'm
Yeah.
saying it could happen, right? So don't get me wrong, but reach out to it's David_Tillman at swifttrans.com and lay it out in a well-worded professional type email. You know what I'm saying? It could take him as much as a week to respond. The guy gets a ton of email and is constantly in court
Right.
and all this crazy litigation that we get thrown into, right? But he will get back to you eventually, man. Seriously. And if you don't hear something in a week, reach back out to me and let me know, and I'll see what I can do to help.
And the answer to
correct, Tillman, Tillman.
And the actual answer to your original question is a minimum of 6 months,
right,
to come back.
Yeah, that's what I finally figured out. But it was I got that answer. Some people, I've called everybody and their mama trying to come back. Some
Right.
people said 6 months. Some people said they don't know. But once I heard 6 months, I said, all right, well, if I can't come back as a contractor, I'm going to try to come back as a company driver. I did that last month.
Oh,
Safety approved it, but operations didn't. That's
Okay.
what my recruiter told me. I'm like,
that's interesting. Honestly, that's
yeah.
right. Look, man, don't take this wrong. Could someone have taken you as a difficult individual? And I'm not trying to be an asshole here. I'm not. Some of us rub people the wrong way. There are some people out there in the system that if they were in charge of me, I would have been screwed.
Right.
Because
Absolutely.
we are oil and water, right? But so, because sometimes, look, Sue, I'm going to ask you a question and you can answer or not. Sue Smith is in our chat. She's an OOC out of Ocala, and she's someone that we really like. So don't pick on Sue because we'll have to fight you. Well, I'll have to fight you because I really like Sue. Anyhow, so Sue Smith, have you in your professional experience, maybe you shouldn't answer this question, honestly, to where, well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
you get that pain in the ass driver and you're like, no, we're not going to take him back. I don't care if he passed it or not.
Right.
We just don't want his ass back. Right. I mean, that's a
But see,
thing. That's a
another
possibility.
thing. Yeah. But that was another question that I had is, I don't necessarily have to go back to the intermodal side, right?
Right. Oh,
I just
absolutely
want to get back into Swift, right? And eventually, I'm going to be here. If I'm able to come back, I'll retire here. I loved it here. But intermodal is eventually going to have to open up eventually.
Right.
So I was just trying some way, somehow to get back into a contractor
Just to get back
truck
in.
Right.
and start rolling.
Yeah. I honestly, I would try that email, man, David_Tillman at swifttrans.com. And look, man,
Right.
there's, yeah, I mean, that's a guy who can make a decision,
Right.
and he'll be honest with you, man. Look, that the guy has never been anything but honest with me, even when he knew that I was going to be not happy with the answer. He's like, look,
Right.
man, I get your position. We understand, like, we used to just harp on their cameras. Like, we're like, get rid of that crap as fast as you can. And they're like, and then they change some things. And then we're like, well, maybe we'll see. But no, we don't want a company camera. We want our camera.
Yeah, and I'm like Jeff. I mean, you don't tell me how to drive, but if there's an accident, yes, please be there for me.
Right.
But I mean, I've been through Smith driving twice. I started out in the oil field. I went through an oil field company's course. And I mean, they taught us everything. What do you do if you drop a wheel? Well, they simulated it.
Right.
What do you do if your trailer axle is locked up? They simulated it. So all these situations, I've been through simulation on how to do all that. But when you come to a big company like Swift, I was just blown away that we're going to put you on safety hold. Oh, by the way, you're fired. What? But again, maybe I rubbed them the wrong way. I don't.
Right. Yeah.
know.
And look, even
I was
Sue said,
respectful.
I mean, even Sue said, yes, we would decline someone for the terminal, not company wide. She did say that you may need to look beyond intermodal. So there you go. I mean, I think you're making the right steps. I would reach out to Tillman and see what he says, see if there's anything that can be done. I mean, worst case, he gives you an exact date of when you're rehireable again, right? Yeah.
6 months would be February the 11th.
So you're not too far out anyhow then.
Yeah,
It
you're
just
right
sucks.
there.
No.
Yeah, man. And
But in the meantime,
look, you helped us here because Roland Espinoza just said I was planning on getting the smart drive cam, but that phone call situation changes my mind. The smart drive is jeopardy to my business. Roland, we've been saying that all along, sir.
Yeah, Roland. So the next thing you should be typing is, "You were right, Charlie and Jeff."
Right? Don't
Because
do it. It's fine.
because we don't hear that from our wives. So we need the affirmation.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the way I look at those cameras, they're there more or less to protect Swift.
Yeah.
Oh, that's absolutely why they're there.
But it's just man, it's just frustrating. You know what I mean?
And they have saved millions and probably hundreds of millions at this point since they've run that smart drive system overall, because
absolutely.
Now they have proof that, look, it wasn't our driver. It was the idiot who's suing us that cut in front and jammed everything up, And so, I mean, and that's what we're saying. Have your camera and make that video available to them in the event of some sort of catastrophic event. Right?
Yeah, sure. If I do something that's my fault, here you go. I'll give you all the evidence you want.
Yeah.
But, are there areas as we as drivers, regardless of how long we've been on the road, can improve? Absolutely. If we're not improving and not learning, what are we doing?
I'm dead. That's what.
You know what I mean?
I tell people all the time.
How to drive if it's kept me. Yeah. If my mindset and the way that I drive has kept me from having an accident in 10 years, why would I change that?
Look, I'm not going to lie. And I've said it before, and I've said it to a lot of people, coming from my old Freightliner Century that had none of the bells and whistles, the lane departure, the following distance stuff, none of that stuff. Look, and I drove that for, a lot of miles, well over 1 million miles, and got set in my ways doing some things. And when I got in this brand new Cascadia, it started making all kinds of weird noise and stuff at me, right? And I'm like, well, what the hell?
Tattletailing at you real quick.
Dude, but it tightened me up, and I'm like, oh, okay, you know what?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I should be better centered in the lane. Maybe I should give a little more following distance. You know what I mean? I honestly believe that it did make me a better driver. Even the fact, even with my slow driving, I still creep up on people, right? And now with this technology, look, I set my cruise, and that thing keeps me the hell away from everybody. It's great. I'm not gonna lie, I love it. And when I kind of drift a little to the right, which is always, look, I was taught to drive on the fog line, basically, right? Drive as close to that damn fog line as you can, because it gives you that millisecond between you and the guy passing you on the left or whatever, right? That's a hard habit for me to break. And it's actually been a tough habit for Rosie to break, but we're both getting better at it, because that damn speaker goes like I'm hitting a rumble strip in my ear. It's great. Freaks me the hell out sometimes. And look, I'm not gonna lie, I turn it off all the time. I'm hitting the stupid button on the dash. I'm like, shut up, I know what I'm doing. And it's great when it, goes off because it sees a crack in the road. It's not, there's not even a line, you bastard. I yell at my truck a lot.
Yeah.
It just happens. For real. But yeah, I mean.
Ever since I left, I've been trying to come back. I mean, I'll make a phone call to recruiting or somebody. Give me something positive.
Yeah, definitely talk to Tillman, man. Seriously. There's, like I said, if nothing else, he can give you a hard date on when you're good. You know what I mean? And just be professional, be, lay it all out like you did with us. This is what happened. This is what transpired. And man, I'm willing to change the way, I realized that there were some things I needed to change, but I was never given that opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's been hard to find anybody that would hire me with whatever Swift has on my record. I think I got lucky with the company that I'm at now. Is I did that application and got approved before anything went on my record, because I've tried to go shoot someplace that said nope, 3 years. I'm like, holy crap, what is on there?
You should get the report. You can get a copy of that report, just like a credit report. You can get a free one every year. I can't think of to tell you exactly how to do it. I'm sure there's someone smart in here who could tell you exactly how to do it. But you can get a copy of your driving report it used to be the DAC file, but it's not really DAC anymore. It's something else. Can't think of the name of it. I'm sorry. I haven't checked mine in a while. I just haven't felt the need to. I probably should though. Never hurts.
Yeah.
But there's a way to do it, man. And dude, you need to find out. I mean, especially if you're trying to get back into, being a business owner again, you need to know what that information is.
There is
and
also a
correct it
way.
if possible.
There is also a way. Again, Charlie and I have been with Swift for, God, 15 years.
Right.
So it just hasn't come up for us. But just like a credit report, there is a way to dispute things that are in the report.
Right.
I don't know what it is, but yeah.
Yeah, there's a process. It's weird.
Well,
If
if it's
nothing
accurate
else, you
information,
can-
why would you dispute?
Well,
I don't know. That's just my
You-
my
you-
mindset.
you don't know if it's factual until you see it, though. Right?
Yeah.
So if there's something in there that you
So
feel
whatever's
like
on
it's
that report
wonky,
is what these other carriers are seeing, right?
Yes, if it's been put into your whatever it is, the DAC file. It used to be the DAC file. I don't know what the hell it's called now. What is it? PSP? PSP? Is that right? Something like that?
I don't know.
Anyhow, if it's in there, then yes, other trucking companies have access to it, just as you would. And Cancel Coach said maybe Sue should drive a truck for a week and we can critique her. You know what? I believe that she might actually school us. One, because she knows the inside system. And just because Sue is an OOC, don't forget she ran a small fleet. This woman had a truck on fire that she stayed driving in so she could get it to a safe place and put it in a safe place on the road. The
Watching
damn thing was burning.
watching her tell that story is awesome.
Right. And she's got pictures, yo. I'm just saying. Don't pick on Sue. I'll fight you. There's a couple people in the world I'll fight you over, and we could do it. I don't care. I don't care if I'm old. You may whoop my ass, but I'm gonna get one or two and you'll remember it. I'm just saying. Look, and yeah, I mean, seriously. So yeah, Randy, dude, I would reach out to Tillman and see what he says. And if you don't hear anything back in the next week, let me know. And I'll see if I can reach out to him. He and I have a pretty good relationship, I think. And yeah, we talk.
You wanted to call you guys back when you guys are doing a live?
Absolutely, man. Or hit us
Yeah.
up on
Okay, that-
Facebook or whatever you want to do, man. We're here
Yeah,
one way or another, right?
We actually use our real names on Facebook, so shoot us a PM and we can help you get hooked up.
Yeah, all these
Time
crazy
comes.
names that pop up on Facebook, and you're like, your name is Dan Smith, but you go by Pocahontas's favorite toy. I'm like, okay, whatever. That was probably not a great example, but you know what I mean. Whatever. Well,
Yeah.
I don't even know where that came from. It just popped out of. See, I think things and it comes out of my face, and I get in trouble.
Yep.
God.
Yeah, I've been watching y'all stuff for probably 3 or 4 months. I don't think anybody could thank you guys enough for what y'all do. The information is I mean, it's priceless. The information that you guys have and that you guys freely give without, some of these guys will charge you $25 an hour, but I mean, the information that you guys give is 100% priceless.
Well, we appreciate
thank
that.
you for what y'all do.
But I'm not gonna. Look. Full disclosure: we are working on a paid service that we are developing. Right? We're not. It's not like we're gonna make billions off of this thing. That's for sure. We would like to supplement our income a little bit for doing what it is, because we do dump a ton of money and time and research and effort and all this kind of shit. I mean, I've spent thousands on technology just for this show, like literally out of my pocket.
Yep.
Equipment, software, I mean, time. Look, don't even talk to me about time, because there's been times where I'm going to take the week off from driving to, do this thing that is paying me nothing. Right. So, and so we are working on a platform. We're actually going to be moving away from Facebook, because Facebook's just a weird thing. And we will have a monthly subscription fee over there for that stuff. But we're going to offer a fair value for what it is that we provide. Right. So, keep in mind, I mean, that there's something that we do need to get paid for. And for a long time, I used to say things like, we're not going to make any money off this. And Jeff's like, shut your horn mouth. And he didn't really say it like that. That's just the way my ears heard it.
No,
Because-
what I would tell you is my wife wishes you would stop saying that.
Right.
I don't
Okay.
even take responsibility for that.
Right. Because I mean, this has been in the works for a long time. I mean, we've been working on this for a couple of years, trying to get to a certain point, and I think that we're at the point where I think that we are comfortable charging for the things that we do. Again, not going to be an exorbitant amount, a little monthly subscription that I promise will be just our basic information alone will save you more than the cost of membership, right? And then you're going to have a little more access to us and the team that we're building. And so, yeah, I mean, it's going to be some cool stuff, I think.
So I
Jeff
should
sees something.
I mean, you have to charge whatever. It's still, to me, and I can probably speak for 95% of the drivers or anybody that watches what y'all do. It's priceless. I mean, I've learned so much stuff with, man, Jeff just said, what? I didn't think about that. Or,
right.
Something that Charley, you're saying, I'm like, wow. I mean, it's like mind blown every time I watch, and I'm just like, wow.
We have made a lot of the the most ridiculous, stupid mistakes you can make in this industry doing this game that we call trucking, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we figure, hell, man, if we can save a couple people from making that mistake alone, gold, man. And look, I'm not gonna lie, I dig doing what we do. It makes me feel good. I can tell you, and I'll speak about myself. I have saved a lot of people's businesses over the last 5 years of doing what I've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff and I combined have been doing this as a team for the last couple of years. And I assure you, we have saved a lot of people's businesses and kept people in their houses. And that makes me feel good. And I have watched other people that everything we have told them, they have done the exact freaking opposite of what we've told them. And then got mad when exactly what we told them was going to happen. Alexia Richardson. I said it. What? Come at me. I don't even care.
It's just like what Jeff says. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Yeah.
I mean,
sometimes you want to push their head under the damn water and hold it.
A plumber to come inside your house and do electricity work. I mean,
well, I might because I'm silly like that, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. So Charley,
buddy.
I put this up here because Charley asked that I do something, and I'm going to do it.
Yes.
Yes. Put my coffee cup right up there.
That's where it needs to be, right there, baby. Oh, I love it. It's just so damn comfortable. I'd fall asleep sitting like that right now. I'm not gonna lie. Even with the good conversation, I'd be like, guys are like, what happened to Charley? Is that drool? Oh my God. Anyhow, hey, if you guys got any other questions, throw them up by all means. We'll get to them. Randy, I want to thank you for calling, brother. I appreciate you. Reach out to Tillman. Let me know what he says. Seriously. Reach back out.
David_Tillman at
SwiftTrans.com. TRANS.
Yeah, for those of you guys that don't know, everybody at Swift and corporate, their email is first name _ last name at swifttrans.com.
Right. Oh, Blackbeard did it. Jeff, Blackbeard did it here. Yeah.
Load board works.
So Randy, thank you so much, buddy. I'm gonna put you back down. You can keep listening on the phone. Yeah. You can switch back into the live, and we'll see you there. Appreciate you. Keep us posted, though. Seriously.
All right. Yeah.
Appreciate you, buddy. So yeah, load board. Jeff, you want that?
Sure. I'll also put driving with Bob up there because he brought up the load board too, and still no load board. So, here's the thing with the load board, guys. We just added another 20 people to the load board the last couple of weeks.
Right.
It hasn't crashed yet, which is good. Tentatively speaking, I don't want to pull a Brett and say that we're going to have the load board on July 23rd of this year or anything, but it is progressing, man, and it works. I could tell you one of the things that I'm seeing when I go out on the load board, and this was something that Charley and I mainly wanted to see the load board for. The planners are not kidding when they tell you there's no freight in an area.
Mm-hmm.
So the load board's great because I can see loads. So like I've got some family drama going on right now, so I'm taking some extended time off for that. Originally, my PTA was set for tomorrow. So the planner sent me what load? Oh, from West Valley City to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
Right.
Do you guys want to do that run this time of year?
Uh-uh.
It snowed 18 inches last night at my house. And it's worse up there on the mountain going to Coeur d'Alene. So I don't really want to do that. So I went to the load board, and what should I find? I found a load that went from Salt Lake City, Utah to Maine that picks up tomorrow. So I say that because that's the good thing about the load board is planners send us what we might consider kind of a BS load as an owner operator. I can then go out to the load board and say, well, let's see what's really available. And what am I willing to do? Right. So I can kind of, a lot of times the loads I get from planners are okay, but I still check the load board just to be sure that there's not something better out there. So it does work. Brett is being wise now that he's been burned so many times. He's not giving dates out anymore. But from what it's looking like, I would say pretty soon we'll get the full 100 people on the load board. And we'll test that and make sure it doesn't crash. Because that's the thing, Charlie. That's always been the thing is it going to scale to 1,500 users?
Right.
And so they're doing the smart thing from a software development.
They're afraid of breaking it.
Right.
Completely.
They're afraid of breaking it. So they're stepping it up. So if the 100 people test works, then they're going to release it in the wild.
Right. It's going to start rolling out, and they'll start letting in chunks is the way I understand that it's going to happen.
And the way we have it set up right now, for those of us that are testing, just so you guys know, it is an active test. We have a group chat in Messenger that we're using, and every time we book a load, we let Jerry White know we booked a load so that he can track and see through the process step by step. Is it flowing the way it's supposed to flow?
Right.
If we have an issue, it's in the group chat, so all 30 some odd of us know what's going on because we're communicating within the group chat on how things are going for us. So so I have to put my phone in privacy mode when I go to bed because in the middle of the night, it's ding ding, I booked this load, I booked that load. Okay, we get it. The load board works. So that's it is I am happy because it's become a more active test. Before, the testers were not communicating with each other. They weren't communicating with Jerry. They weren't they were using it, but nobody was saying anything about what their experience was.
We actually had an issue pop up today or yesterday with Alan Becker. He booked a load. It said he picked up here, delivered here. Then when he actually got the load assignment itself, turns out he's got another stop to pick up in the middle.
Yep.
And it wasn't listed. So there was a problem there. And that's something that, was brought up to the attention of those powers that be. And that's something they're looking at. And that's why we're testing it. And driving with Bob, do you have to have a YouTube channel to get on the load board? So I take a slight offense to this because you clearly don't know what I've been fighting for well over 10 years, long before we started this YouTube thing. For the last 10 years, I have been absolutely fighting and crying and screaming and kicking and jumping up and down to get a load board, to be a part of it. I've been one of the testers from the load boards since we were back on the original broker side when we had what was the name of that? Echo and Command. Mm-hmm. And I was actually asked to be the first one then because of how vocal I was even back then. And I turned it down back then because I had a good gig with my a contract thing that I was doing. We'll go there. I can't. Driving with Bob said, explain Trucker Todd then. I can't. Don't know what to tell you. I'm not the guy that makes those decisions.
Well, what I can say is that at least in the 10-person group, all 10 of us were people that were pretty vocal. All 10 of us are people that built relationships with management. So whatever you want to say about that, I guess, it's just we put ourselves out there.
Right.
We were proactive. Now the 100-person group is made up more of people of OOC saying, "Hey, I think this guy would be a good
Right.
tester for you," and some of them are, and some of them are not. I can tell you that some of them never heard from them, so I don't know how well they are going to be as testers. But you start off by asking, about it. Ask
Right.
your OOC, is there another slot available? Where are we at on it?
You can talk to Jerry White. You
can talk to Jerry
send
White.
email to Brett Stewart. I mean, that's
Mhm.
how some of these people got on there. I'm telling you right now, that's exactly how they got on there. They said, "Hey, I'd really like to test something."
Average
What's the average
loaded
loaded miles?
miles. Well, it's the same freight that we get now. It's the same freight that planners plan. So
Yeah,
you've got those BS local runs are on there, and there's transcontinental loads on there,
right.
and everything in between.
It's all of the solo OTR, excuse me, all of the solo OTR freight that is in the Swift system that's profitable on a contractor's truck. And I don't even think that profitable on a contractor's truck statement is valid at times, because it's not profitable but Swift on some of these guys. They're just happy to cover the loads sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it's coming along pretty good. Sage Freak says, how much testing does the board go through? To what kind of patches or versions has the current board went through? I couldn't tell you about patches or versions on the back end. We don't. It doesn't change a version number or anything to us, because it is a web-based type deal for us. So we don't see a version change. It's coding they go in and do, and they're like, "Oh crap, this is breaking here. Let's fix that." Coders go in, fix it, relaunch the website, and it works or it doesn't, and they go back through it, and we keep making these little steps.
I could tell you that from time to time, the load board will go down for up to a week throughout this process while they're dealing with a section of code. There was a while there where they told us not to use it, but they forgot to take it down. So I was booking loads anyway, and I got talked to about that.
Right.
Because I guess every time we would book a load, it messed up what the coders were doing. And I'm like, well, then why didn't they take it down?
Squeaky wheel gets the grease. Roland said it. Roland's one of our testers. Just saying right now, he's one of our 10, and he uses the hell out of that thing.
Yes, he does.
This is the last I'm going to dip on this. A lot of people have been very vocal about the answers. And the answer is no trucker starts and gets right on the board. Look, that was a negotiation thing. I'm not a part of negotiating that. That's something individuals negotiated for themselves, and power to them for doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to leave it there. Just going to move away now. I know, Sage Freak. It's Brown Allen. That's not appropriate. Who says things like that? But yeah, no, and that's, I mean, that it was a legitimate question, Alan, Sage Freak. And so, I address you by the name you use here because, that's the one you're putting out there, and that's what we're going with. So, yeah.
And from what we've learned, he is a freak. So,
Oh, absolutely. Love that dude. One of my favorite people on the planet. I'm not even going to pretend. Love that dude. My brother. I've been very vocal about getting on the load board way before Trucker Tubs started. At Swift, he gets right on, and the rest are told, no. Hey, I look, man. We're gonna beat a dead horse here, brother. I'm not gonna argue with you. That's for sure. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, the dude negotiated something, and I'll say, okay, I'll say that he has not pulled the load off the load board yet because they can't get his code to work. How's that? Is that wrong? Maybe. I don't know. What do you want? He said it on his channel. Whatever. Anyhow, we're gonna move the hell on. No, okay. See, look, it's not that I don't. It doesn't hurt me at all. Look, let's be real. You're not going to hurt my feelings. I'm trying to give you answers to what's gone on. If you don't like the answers, I don't know what to tell you. I can only tell you what I can tell you. And I'm not dodging your questions. I mean, clearly you can see I'm not dodging your questions. I'm answering you the best that I can. And,
I think we leave it there.
Yeah, Truckers Coach said, I heard you say you were going to start charging, which is fine. Are you doing that on a website or members only feeds on YouTube? We will probably, it will not be a members only thing on YouTube. As we get closer and get ready to launch, we will let you know. It's actually through an external site that gives us far more control over everything that's happening in the site itself. We'll be happy to dip into that later. If you want to talk to us more about it at some point, once we get things going, by all means, we'll talk more, because honestly, I'm trying to learn a lot about this thing right now, and it's not going well for me because we've got 19.
Well, and
irons in the fire.
the platform that we chose decided to change things up on us
Completely, just change everything at the beginning of the year. So, all right, guys, we're coming up on our. No, it's cool, Coach. Whatever, man. We're coming up on our. Oh, there's the 2-hour mark. So, yeah. Any last questions? Throw them up. Otherwise, we're gonna wrap this thing because I don't know. Got weird at the end here. I'm not gonna lie. Thick skin, yo. Look, you can't hurt my feelings. I mean, you could try. You're not gonna hurt my feelings. So, I mean, most of these guys that have come from other places could tell you, I'm willing to talk. But you have to be willing to hear an answer and accept an answer. If you don't like the answer, that's cool. Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, when you ask about someone else, it's not us.
Right.
Ask them how they got
Yeah.
on.
That exactly. You know what? I would recommend you ask him exactly how the hell it happened. If you want to know, you clearly know who he is. So, I mean, have at it, man. Airbag video, Jason Caps. You are right, sir. Look, I've been so behind on everything, man. Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, we shot that like
Shut your mouth.
in September.
Yeah, I know, man. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap this thing.
We're over 2 hours now.
Look, yeah, I'm not even gonna touch that. Sorry. Yeah, we don't use mods in our channel. We're just gonna leave it at that, because we've never had the need to. Simply speaking, because we've just addressed things as they pop up. So there you go.
Yeah.
You know what, you guys? This is getting into a weird place, and I don't want to go there. Let's end this on a high note. Hope you guys are doing well. Yay! I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you got some cool things coming this year. I know myself and Jeff are both making some changes to our own personal businesses. Some changes that we observed.
We're hoping to be able to make some recommendations over the next few months on things like accounting.
Right. And hopefully next week we'll have info on that insurance. Check your email, folks. If you didn't get an email, reach out to me. If you didn't get an email from insurance@contractorscorner.network asking for your truck year, make, model, and all that stuff, reach out to me on Facebook, and I'll get the information updated, because I need to get that list to them as quick as possible so that we can get that information done by the end of the week so we can present it next week to you guys.
Yep.
And hopefully we'll have an awesome deal. You guys be safe. Take care of each other. Jeff, you got anything you want to throw out there?
Nope. Just be safe. Weather's still bad in certain places.
Oh, yeah, there's some messes coming. Seriously, take care of each other. No one's out here looking after us but us, you guys. Yeah, and
yeah, remember tax day is coming in a couple months.
Happy New Year, y'all. Happy New Year. You guys.
All right.
We'll see you next Tuesday, 6 p.m. right here on Contractors Corner Consulting Group. That's Jeff. Look, I pointed in the right direction one time. Amazing. I had to think about it, though. We're out. You guys have fun.